In the recent past, social media has been misused to perpetuate a narrative that certain lawful arrests were abductions, when in fact those arrested are either awaiting trial or have been released after the necessary legal procedures. Some of the people allegedly kidnapped were safely reunited with their families, for instance, the two Kitengela brothers and activists. All arrests will be conducted within the bounds of the law and will remain committed to upholding the principles of justice and due process. Any officer found contravening these principles will be held accountable. On matters security, there is a decrease in general crime, including offenses such as robbery, break-ins, stock theft, vehicle thefts, dangerous drugs, traffic offenses, and corruption cases. However, there are increased incidences of vandalism targeting electric power transmission infrastructure, resulting in power disruptions, affecting service delivery, and thus causing economic loss. A total of 114 cases were reported across the country, and 81 cases are in court, and 33 are under investigation. Let me delve a little bit into some of the highlighted crimes. Let me start with cattle rustling. The focus on the North Rift counties involving National Police and the Kenya Defence Forces has seen a 62% decrease in cattle rustling cases in Baringo, Turkana, Samburu, Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot, Marsabit, Laikipia, Isiolo, and Meru counties, where certain areas were earlier gazetted as disturbed and dangerous. These successes can be attributed to the coordinated multi-agency operation Maliza Uhalifu in the North Rift. Relatedly, 250 suspects, including 14 political leaders, were arrested and processed during the same period. The multi-agency operation updates as of 17th December 2024 indicate that 240 firearms were surrendered, while 14,598 cows were recovered. Unfortunately, 179 civilians were killed and 4 officers lost their lives. Following the resultant peace in the once volatile area, the government has completed rebuilding 11 primary schools. 5 others are under rehabilitation, while we project to rehabilitate 9 more for use during the first term of next year. Currently, the elephant in the room in the security sector is the worrying trend of emerging cases of femicide, which have brought to fore the underlying and ongoing violations of the rights of women in particular. The country has recorded a total of 7,107 sexual and gender-based cases, gender-based violence cases, from September 2023 to date. Nairobi County recorded the highest number of SGBV cases, while Samburu and Mandera counties had the lowest incidence. There are 100 murders of women from August to November 2024. So far, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations has completed investigations on these, and the majority are pending before court. The Inspector General of Police has formed a specialized missing persons unit domiciled at the DCI Homicide Unit to deal with cases of femicide. In addition, His Excellency the President William Ruto, on Tuesday, 17th of December, 2024, that is earlier this week, directed the formation of a presidential working group on femicide. The team, to be gazetted soon, is expected to deliver actionable proposals and address femicide issues within 90 days of its creation, so that there can be a structured approach based on their recommendations. On road accidents, the country has recorded an increase in serious injury due to road traffic accidents, rising by about 11% since 2023. There has, however, been a decrease in fatalities among drivers, passengers, pillion passengers, those are the ones who ride at the back of a motorcycle, and motorcyclists by 5.85%, 10%, 9%, and 10.05% respectively. The month of December normally records the highest number of fatalities. I therefore urge Kenyans in this festive season, especially public service vehicles, drivers, driving on long-distance trips, to be careful and drive safely. To ensure the safety of our people during the festive season, I give the following directives to our security enforcement officers. 1, increased police presence and patrols along major highways, both day and night, to monitor and enforce compliance with traffic laws. The enhanced patrols will serve to discourage reckless driving and speed violations, and to prevent unlicensed and overloaded PSVs from operating. 2, strict enforcement of vehicle roadworthiness regulations, including ensuring that all PSVs have valid road service licenses, either for long distance or commuter routes. This will help ensure that only safe vehicles are on the road. 3, heightened action against illegal and unlicensed PSVs to prevent them from operating as passenger transport vehicles. Such vehicles should not be allowed to carry passengers, as they do not meet the required standards for passenger safety as stipulated in the NTCA operations regulations of 2014. We need them to enforce speed limits across all major highways and prevent road crashes relating to speeding. Personal responsibility by law enforcement officers, base commanders and officers serving within their stations should do their utmost to preserve safety and ensure no incidents occur within their jurisdictions. Every officer must be actively engaged in monitoring, reporting, and addressing any issues of non-compliance to road safety regulations. This is critical to the national road safety goal of reducing road traffic fatalities by 50% before 2028. On terrorism, Kenya has achieved milestones in the fight against terrorism and violent extremism. With the Global Terrorism Index impact score for Kenya decreasing from a high in 2023 to a medium in 2024. Our reports indicated that from January 2024 to from January 2022 to November 2024, our officers have thwarted 47 terrorist attacks across the country. During the period, Several terrorists have been neutralized. The government has also pushed for 11 successful convictions. Noteworthy, our success also came through collaborations with our international agencies and partners to thwart crime through training and equipment support. On disasters, including industrial accidents, oil spills, and chemical and gas leaks are also normally reported in the country, leading to loss of lives and long-term detrimental effects on the environment. The gas explosion in Mudavadi, Embakasi, where 13 lives were lost and over 300 people injured, was a significant catastrophe. To effectively mitigate the impacts of these disasters, the government continues to enforce and review legislation concerning environmental management and enhance early warning systems to predict and monitor disasters. On corruption, the government has made commendable strides in tackling theft of public resources by establishing a high standard of accountability, integrity, and anti-corruption measures to safeguard our national well-being and development. A total of 49 cases of public interest have been registered in court for the prosecution involving amounts totaling to 6 billion Kenya shillings. And of course, 15 convictions have so far been made. In the International Civil Aviation Arena, or organization ICAO, the Universal Security Audit Program has indicated that Kenya has achieved a 91.77% rating, placing it second on the continent. This accomplishment showcases the country's commitment to ensuring the highest levels of safety and security at its airports, including Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The enhanced multi-agency collaborations have also led to the recovery in our airports of 2,540 kilograms of elephant ivory, 14,547 kilograms of bushmeat, and 5.92 kilograms of rhino horns. 5 suspects were arrested and prosecuted this year. In the mining sector, there have been instances of illegal mining activities resulting in loss of revenue to the government through tax evasion, corruption, and fraud. Most artisanal miners in Kenya are found in the following counties: Taita Taveta, Kwale, Migori, Kakamega, Vihiga, Siaya, Marsabit, West Pokot, Samburu, Garissa, Kajiado, Mandera, and Machakos. The government recently established and operationalized the Mining Police Unit to curb illegal mining. On social media and the rise of sensational and misinformation, we request citizens to be vigilant to sensationalist social media posts and seek to verify the authenticity of information posted online. While social media is an invaluable tool for disseminating news, it has unfortunately been used by several individuals to manipulate public perception and pursue political agenda inconsistent with our national interests and against the sanctity of the Constitution. And let me just give a very recent example. Earlier in the week, the Inspector General of Police flew to one of the border areas in northern Kenya, where on the social media there was a buzz that 10 miners had been buried alive in that area. The Inspector General is here. They went there physically with his team, and it turned out the information was false. So, ladies and gentlemen and fellow Kenyans, you can imagine you now remove the attention of the Inspector General from the focused area to a place where people are playing pranks. Suppose now there was a genuine emergency somewhere else. What happens? We need to address these things collectively. To our dedicated security personnel, the often unsung heroes and protectors of our safety, we owe a debt of gratitude. Your unwavering commitment, often at a great personal risk, secures the freedoms and peace we cherish. You are the guardians of our nation's security, and your sacrifices do not go unnoticed. As a nation, we honor your bravery and dedication. And ladies and gentlemen, it's important for you to note that between January to 17th December 2024, there were a total of 55 deaths. In the last 6 years, we have lost 383 officers in the line of duty. This year, 830 officers have been injured in the line of duty. This is data that is critical because we sometimes forget that the security agencies are human. On the State Department for Immigration and Citizen Services in 2024, there were remarkable strides in enhancing the service delivery and easing and expanding access to government services and fostering inclusivity in public services. We have streamlined operations to improve the service delivery and address delays in passport and document processing. On e-citizens, we have onboarded over 22,000 government services available online, and 375,000 Kenyans visit the e-citizen platform daily. Listen to that, 375,000 daily for different services. Over 13 million users are registered on e-citizen platform. We also closed down 1,130 pay bills and created a single pay bill, the famous 22222, for payment of all government services. This has resulted in the collection of Kenya shillings 900 million daily. We invested in 2 modern printers with a combined capacity of producing 500 passports per hour. This investment, in tandem with the procurement of 1 million passport booklets, the recruitment of 300 immigration officers, and modifications of physical facilities, effectively resulted in the clearance of a backlog of 609,805 passports. So basically, there is no backlog now. The Directorate also opened 2 new offices in Kericho and Bungoma, taking services closer to citizens and effectively easing pressure on existing offices, to encourage the uptake of job opportunities arising out of the government's efforts to secure foreign jobs for its citizens. The Directorate also set up special desks to hasten the issuance of passports. The Directorate also successfully introduced and approved 1,465,560 ETA applications, following the introduction of the visa-free regime in Kenya. During the same period, the National Registration Bureau played a critical role in strengthening Kenya's digital identity infrastructure. The introduction and the rollout of the Maisha ecosystem, whose signature features include the Maisha card, the unique personal identifier, a digital version of the Maisha card, and the Maisha integrated database that is a one-stop authentication register for all Kenyans and notable milestones. The National Registration Bureau also invested in 2 printers and live capture units to sidestep manual processes, and printed 1,778,773 ID cards to effectively clear a backlog of over 600,000 pending national ID applications. It also extended to the registration of first-time ID applications to approximately 900,000 Form 4 students who are eligible to prepare for transition to tertiary institutions, and we also opened 54 new grassroots offices. At the Civil Registration Services, 35 new offices were opened. The unique personal identifier system was successfully deployed in Nairobi and Huduma centers, and digitizing over 16 million records. In the period under review, the Directorate of Refugees formally introduced the Shirika Plan, which proposes the conversion of refugee camps into integrated settlements for the mutual benefit of refugees and host communities. Ladies and gentlemen, this Shirika Plan has now become a global flagship for benchmarking in dealing with refugees. This is Kenya that has pioneered and led in this Shirika Plan. In summary, the State Department of Immigration and Citizen Services made tremendous progress in 2024, achieving substantial advancements across various departments. On behalf of the Ministry of Interior and National Administration and all security agencies, I would like to wish you and your families a peaceful, joyful, and safe festive season. May we cross over to 2025 with renewed hope and a steadfast commitment to each other and our beloved nation. Asanteni sana. Thank you for listening. It was very comprehensive, and you will get it from the media officers present in the government. Asanteni sana.
Maybe His Excellency can just take 2 questions.
Thank you. Yeah. My name is Brian Mushiri.
Yes.
2 questions. Number 1, on the femicide cases, perhaps any indications on any arrests on police individuals that we may have seen perhaps harassing some of these protesters who are within the femicide march? That's number one. Then number two, on social media, you have given the example of the IG having to travel to a different point of view in government just to confirm something. Doesn't this then speak to some sort of lack of communication within government, or at least mistrust? Because then again, what does those who are within that locality, what are they doing, if one may ask? Thank you.
Thanks. On the issue of the femicide, attached to this statement, we have compressed. I gave the statistics, but we have also attached a snapshot. And inside there, you will find that there are 97 cases of femicide that have been conclusively investigated. And they are either in court or on their way to court. But you'll get the data that will be shared with you. On the issue of the Inspector General going to Marsabit area, I think we need to look at it this way. He took the potential loss of lives of Kenyans extremely seriously. And that is why he went there. We should not try and cast aspersions on the Inspector General and his team who went there. I think we should be condemning the individuals who are circulating false information, which was not just circulating in Kenya, but you know, with technology, it was circulating all over. I think that is the contrary, the contrast that we should make here. The second thing that I just want to say on the issue of the unfortunate incident of the demonstrators, the Inspector General has taken the necessary action, and he went even further. He even had a conversation with the organizers of the demonstrations and rendered a personal apology on behalf of the government of Kenya. So that was redressed in that context.
Steve Otieno for the Daily Nation. Shortly after the protests, in July we had a very disturbing case in Kwari where so many women were found, their bodies dumped. It was very good that we had the suspect in a record less than a week, then he disappeared. So where is Collins Jumaisu? Any progress on that?
Well, that is something that is being followed up, and I can tell you the fact that we can stand here and share with you data of this nature involving both deaths, involving both successes, where we have had hits and where we have had misses. I just want to assure you that once the investigations are complete and all the loose ends are tied, there'll be appropriate communication on this matter. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So this morning we have the honor to listen to the Prime Cabinet Secretary and the Cabinet Secretary in charge of the Ministry of Interior and National Administration. His Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, is accompanied by my PS colleagues, PS Bitok, in charge of Immigration and Citizen Services, PS Salome Biako, in charge of Correctional Services, and PS Anne Wangombe, in charge of Gender. We also have the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Douglas Kanja, and his two deputies, DIG Masengeli and DIG Lagat, as well as the Director of Criminal Investigations and senior officials within the executive, particularly from the Ministry of Interior and National Administration. Without much ado, allow me to invite His Excellency the Prime Cabinet Secretary to speak to us. Karibu.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Now, as we come to the close of the year, I think it's important that we have an opportunity to have a broad overview of what the year was like. And today